We got yours in this mix today. No, but I'll go ahead and review them all.
Was just trying to get figures on what the chief deputies, the chief deputies.
Right, I believe all the JPs want their clerks to get raised to something, I forget what it is. To a chief deputy or chief,
We raised, we invited the assistant chief, added. But I wasn't ready this year to request me representing budget, so we did. Or I didn't request it, but I just knew that that's when we get asked and I gave you the different salary comparisons and stuff. So I thought I'd speak on their behalf, but notice.
okay. Do you have numbers on what that would be? The increase would be from a. Well, yeah, well, we'll be reviewing it today,
Yeah.
but
Before we get down, $2,500 on the threshold of the average for all counties, not all county stuff. I did it for that. Okay. You just do it.
can I be admitted?
She's here with you. Good morning. I do need to talk to you before you go to lunch today, because I know you take a 2-hour lunch.
I'm going to lose like 5 minutes.
I've got the assistant training. Yeah, I'm hard.
I need that broker, I'm meeting a broker today, so that's where I hope with it.
Is they didn't approve it yet, so I haven't added it yet.
Yes, sir.
Me too.
For now.
I didn't add. I'm all the DS5 on that. It's not meant to, so. Morning. I don't actually have it. Morning, guys. Hi. 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 Hello. Morning.
Are we recording?
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
I know you did the strings. You look nice, that'd be what. Yeah, record over the string. Normal for you, guy. You already have these things. Copiers for those two, but they're really gonna be rolled into one copy. Working on that with them. All those firewalls for all the road and bridges, 2 scanners for HR. And increasing the license plate reader cost. That's the only things I've got added to RC.
98s and 99 temperatures are coming.
We had those, maybe biogas equipment, just 16 fireworks. 6 to 16 in less than 3 years.
My hairdress, if you listen really close to that,
Dedicated fireworks.
you can hear it squeaking as it comes up.
Really?
I don't know how many tunnels are in there.
It does go fast. I have never.
You got coastal out there, too.
Seven.
Probably still.
It was that one got in me.
That's a special.
It left a mark.
The purple one wasn't.
I don't know. There were too many tears in my eyes.
Well, we call my mother the butcher.
Because all this stuff's not
If
decided
it was
yet.
bad, I'll learn to get it done, yeah.
How much of this stuff, vehicles, everything, I just kind of got it basic for right now, but. We need to talk about adding that, which is, it's on the agenda for next time, I think. Well, we gotta add it to the budget if it's approved next week.
Well, we're not doing all this today, right? Oh, this is a full.
Looks like a car before we was in the deal. Yeah. Somewhere. You can drag it down. If you click on the, somewhere that's not a thing. Somewhere that doesn't, you can drag it, yes, right there. I think. Drag it down. Keep dragging, you can drag it to where it gets, yeah.
There we go.
Right.
How's human resources all on yellow?
We got from that, I can hear that.
Just look at all this yellow marking on the paper. And then this red spot, I don't care.
That's okay, as long as it's not red, you're okay. It gets red, and
Yellow means to slow down, hit the brakes, right? Something.
Well, your next reading on that.
either slow down or speed up, I'm not sure. Depends on where you're at.
Depends on who you know.
Oh, sorry. All right, are we ready to begin?
Don't worry, you can resign.
Oh, yeah.
Here, Brendan, the extra printout.
Or, yeah.
This is the order we're gonna do. All right, today's schedule is, we have IT. And then, I will be going through a bunch of the, county departments that didn't specifically request a budget hearing, but we need to review it and just look at it, see, and have some discussions on that. I don't anticipate that we will go all the way to noon. And it all depends on your questions and responses. So with that,
46.
Rusty and Scott are present to tell us about the IT budget. A lot of what many people don't know is most or much of what their budget includes is a lot of other departments, especially the sheriff's department, the fire marshal. And a lot of the increases are related to additional software, even the auditor's office. A lot of the software that is in the IT budget is basically we do pretty much all the software gets run through the IT department in order to keep the licenses renewed on a regular basis, and that we don't get caught without licenses. So
That's if I remember.
yeah, yeah.
So a lot of this just reflects just increases in cost. On the telephone, on the 420, it kind of went down, but then we were just talking about, I didn't put on there the proposed cyber survey for the DA, because that's not approved yet.
Right.
So if that's approved, that has to add 4,600 to that.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of wondering, especially in light of what's going on with the AT&T bill going from, almost $1,000 since the beginning of the year. And I don't know if that's an ongoing thing or not.
Well, there's the fluctuations in that because of the things we turn off and on for the elections. There's 20 of those. You
Okay,
know, and then we'll idle those between elections.
okay,
So then it's a significant dip. And then it'll shoot right back up again
Right.
as soon as we react to it. So
okay. But you got them accounted for.
I do have that accounted. Um, let's see, 457 went up. Let me pull that one up. That's one of our contract. We've added a bunch of stuff, again, like you said, for other people. Um, big increases there. Well, there's one that we don't have complete. But we'll get more information on that from Ben at some point later. Guardify went up 6,000. iPlow is in there.
Are we using iPlow?
Well, we put it in there so that they would have it for, wasn't it the clerk's offices were supposed to pick it up?
We're starting to do that contact with the vendor and stuff, and they set that for us.
Okay, it's been 2 years now that we've been getting it set up. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So what is your, what,
I know that they talked with the district clerk's office, had it kind of going, and so they weren't ready for us for the clerk's office and stuff, so. We're
Right.
almost there, yeah.
do you anticipate we going by October 1st? Okay,
We added 3,600 for the SAFE program for the fire marshals. I guess it was being budgeted out of theirs last year. I'm really not sure.
no,
I think I paid it this year. I have the invoice to pay it. I don't think it's due until October 1st. I'm not sure what we did with it last year. So it'll actually be paid the first bill out of next year's budget.
okay,
Deep freeze we've added for the library, that's that $2,000 for that system, and that's working great.
Yes.
That's been a lifesaver.
and explain what deep freeze does.
It's the thing that allows the patron computers to be used and then reset to kind of like the previous day, so that
Okay.
anything on there just kind of gets wiped. Rest of it
Defaults it out, and that's what they're better than. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
Anything that they manipulate, modify, by the time it reboots at night, it just flushes it out and starts over new.
Because those are public computers that people are
Plug
using.
in USB drives, move files, do whatever they do to it.
Okay.
So that mostly reflects that $10,000 increase on that one.
And Guardify is what?
Guardify went up. Guardify is most of the DA's office, but I think also the sheriff's office uses it. They upload to it. It's an evidence library for video. It went from 12,000 to 18,200.
Is that based on
Actually,
usage or
It's on
storage?
Looking at the wrong column, I've actually got the current rate is 21,364.52. That's what's projected for 2027, based on the last invoice we got. It's current. I haven't paid it yet, but I've just got it from the DA's office. I didn't negotiate any part of that, so I'm not really sure what our storage or anything with them is. That all went through the DA's office. But the court approved the part, which was 12,000, that went up to 18,000, and now it's down to 23,000. So I'm really not sure why all this is going up as much.
23 for the year?
Yes, sir. I'm pulling up that invoice now to see. Just sent that on the last one. So it's discounted 21,361. Still quite an increase from what it was before.
Do we know what that's based off of? Is it based on storage or does it say?
I really don't know.
And our contract would have a specific amount, correct?
Contract was, it started 12 and then they increased it to 18, and I believe that came back to court. And then, because we had the budget for that for last year. For the 18, and so now it's gone up to 21.
So we need to review the contract.
Yes, sir. Doesn't state anything itemized, it just has a bill for 21,361.52.
Okay.
I never really dealt with the original contract, so I'm not sure what all that entails. On office equipment, on the 572. I haven't put any. I got 3 ticket printers for the sheriff's office in there, but he says he's gonna need 6 if all the vehicles are approved, so that's kind of. He needs 3 now based on, I think he's basing that on the 3 vehicles he's planning on retiring and rotating or something. I'm not exactly sure, but he asked for 3 before they asked for the vehicles, so I put 3 in.
Okay,
I did not put any Motorola cameras in there. That's all contingent on cars.
okay.
If he gets. I do have the cradle points in there. We need to solidify that. Jones was kind of working on what he thought would work well, and I was kind of hoping he would get one in his vehicle and we could kind of test it for the other vehicles.
How much are cradle points?
I budgeted 1,200 a piece for those. And that's just a hardware cost. We would need another SIM for that. If we got all of those, that'd be another additional 20 or 22 accounts on First Net.
And that would affect your telephone budget.
And that would raise telephone budget, yes, sir.
So do you have an update on your little spreadsheet about the cost for a new employee?
I did up the PC cost because the cost of computers has skyrocketed. Most of the memory is the same. Patrol laptops have gone up. I projected 5 for next year just on basic replacements, and that again, that doesn't include if we have to do additionals for increasing the deputies. That's just basic replacement 5-year cycle is the 5 that I've requested. And those are now $2,500 instead of $2,200 that they used to be. And they may be,
Those
and
are
that was a few
laptops.
months ago, they may have
Yeah,
gone up.
gone up again.
They're probably 27, maybe 28 by now. I've got scanners in there. I put 4. I know that HR's requested 2. And I don't know if you're totally set or you're gonna need another.
You got one more for me.
I have one more for you.
And I'm thinking maybe we'll put 1 in there just because the one that Shannon Leaf has is probably a little older.
Yeah.
And so that's one that probably will need to be replaced at some point. I mean, we use them until they actually.
Yeah, the one we took off at jail is pretty old. And I think Karen's in basically the same shape, so I went ahead and did 1 replacement for each of you on that. Unless you can think of another replacement you need, well, I had that, but I think that's basic.
Yeah, we'll do 1 for this year.
Because we just did 2 for each of you this past year. So yeah, we got 4 scanners on there.
All right, does the DA office use any scanners? Need any scanners?
Well, they are, but they didn't request any, aren't they? Doesn't. I don't remember. Patty doesn't have one. Maybe Laura does. I don't,
Yeah,
really, they don't do any bulk scanning at the
Okay.
desk. They do some scanning on their computers.
okay.
Which on the copier budget, we have included, copiers for Road and Bridge 3 and Road and Bridge 1. Small desktop copiers, not fancy ones.
Are they multi-functions?
Multifunction, color,
They connect to
Scan.
internet, scan to, okay.
and that's part of the other plan. That's also in, one of the reasons that the 572 has gone up, because I'm asking for firewalls. I want to put small firewalls at each of the Road and Bridge location and branch office VPN them into the courthouse. Right now, we have where they have their own VPN on their computer. And it's not great. It'd be better, especially when we start adding copiers. Now we got phones, we got computers, gonna have probably more computers at some point, but cameras, all that stuff. We need to have that behind a firewall and have that
Okay,
a more robust connection, more protection on that. So that was $1,600 a piece. I kind of just based that on the last one we bought for the
shelter
that
for the
tower.
video. Yeah.
kind of based that on that. So that brought that hardware cost up. Office equipment,
So by giving them
Yeah.
that direct internet access to the road and bridge, the barns, that could potentially keep the commissioners in the barns and rather than here.
well, they would be just like they're here.
I'll try not to come over there.
Give them the tools that they need at the barn.
Can we just
Okay.
phone the bar too? That's gonna be a support these.
You can do it by video, I guess. I don't know. It's up to y'all. The Sabita, the 590 went up. But that's because, we project Southern software to go up. I didn't get a new Southern software. I did request it from them. Typically, they go up a certain percentage, and I kind of factored that in, kind of a guesstimate.
Plus we added modules.
We had that in modules, yes, sir. Even QuickBooks is more expensive. They went up. It's like from 391 to 3612. Debt book remains the same. I don't think they're going up. I think it's going to be 13. I think it's,
It was a stepped increase, like 2,000 a year in the contract that I remember signing.
we stepped, when we first signed it, it was 9, then it went to 11, 12, 13, and it stayed 13. I think 13 is the cap. I think that's what, I think Michelle or Nicole sent that to me, that it was 13 for next year. Well, WatchGuard video is almost 100,000 now.
That is the
Sheriff's office.
sheriff's office.
Vehicles. And again, that could increase if they get more vehicles. That's not based, that's only based on current vehicles. One thing that did increase though, we found out that the license plate reader software was only good for the first year. After that, we have to pay for it. So it increased, I think it was 1,200 per 5. The first 5 that we had to renew, I believe it was, no, it's 2,400. I don't think I have that in here. But we're gonna have 2 more that expire. I think that added that. It's a separate spreadsheet. Got spreadsheets on top of spreadsheets. And they link. So you mess something up in one, you mess something up in all. 2749 is what I'm looking at twice, so that's $5,400 added.
For 1 year?
$5,400 added for next year's budget.
Just for license plate reader?
For license plate reading, the software that's called ALPR. And I know the sheriff wants it because he's got 2 people in it right now they're using it. We just had to set them up and they're in it working with it. they link their license plate readers are built into the cameras, the N500s.
Mm-hmm.
And he could explain it better than I could, how the software works. It's some way to upload their stuff and then they can go in and manage it. They can look at they can track people pretty much.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like the nanny state. I think they should have to get a warrant before they take a look at somebody. But I'm a libertarian, so
Well, we catch a lot of bad people with license plate readers.
you can also catch a lot of them if you just round everybody up and put them in gulags.
I don't think we have a budget for gulags.
I do not have a
Not
lot
this
of
year.
gulags.
Not yet. We haven't heard from everybody yet.
I have a lot of ideas if you want to discuss all of it.
Oh, I do.
We can do that during the road and bridge tomorrow.
That's got more to do with gulags.
Oh, okay.
Road and bridge is Friday.
Right.
Road and Bridge have their own, each precinct have a gulag, or would it be just a countywide? So, the one thing, I am asking for another employee.
I don't like them.
Is that what they want?
It's very similar to them. Yeah, but these are in
Oh,
in
We
each
feel that
car.
everybody else is getting new employees, we need to get a new employee.
No, everyone else is, not everyone else is getting a new employee, and you're free to request one, and, you didn't, I don't believe you filled out a
I did,
request,
yes,
additional,
I gave it to the auditor's office.
okay. Why didn't,
That's the top line that we're talking about?
I didn't say it,
Yeah,
Yeah, I just.
okay, and what would the
I didn't
role,
follow instructions, I wasn't supposed to fill that
Just
out.
went right past
what
that.
will be the role of the new employee?
Just basic PC support to,
Help desk support?
yes. And the request was twofold, because there's two spots on it, and, it was actually to move. And here it is. Just my copy of it. Unless I turned in the other part and I forgot to grab that part in. So this is the position that Ron's in right now.
Mm-hmm.
We need to bump him up to a title wise. It wouldn't be an increase in pay or anything, just title. And then bring this guy in as or whoever, the basic,
Okay,
lowest impact, bring him up one seniority.
okay.
So Ron is in your office?
Yes.
In our office,
Sheriff's
but
office.
Yes, he worked.
75% of the time on the towers, in my opinion. But he falls under the IT.
You know, add about the volume and all that stuff. Number of firewalls.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, we've gone from, just in 3 years, I think we've gone from 6 firewalls, I thought it was up to 12, but adding these others, we're going up to 16. So that's just in the 3 years, so I mean, there's a lot more maintenance on things now,
Yeah,
maintenance all around.
everything has to be updated.
All right, what else?
That's mostly all I've got.
What is EDP system? It doesn't seem to,
That is the, I don't know why it's called EDP, but it's the tower's, internet service. And the one at the sheriff's office too. They made a separate line item for that, a few years ago, 424. It's got the 4 Starlinks and the, People's Fiber for the SO site.
okay. Okay, that is a Starlink, all right, and we only have one Starlink activated at the moment, and we're fixing to activate number 2, right?
I activated the second one already.
Okay,
He doesn't have it completely going, I don't think, at this point, but it is activated. Billing has begun.
the Starlink's used at the tower sites,
Yes,
radio tower sites.
There was a piece of hardware that they had to ship us that we didn't have for some reason that we needed this time and we didn't get on the last one. I don't understand it, but Ron's working on it. It wasn't a cost, it was included. For some reason it wasn't included on the previous one.
So my office over there, how much does it cost your office to have my office?
I
I
think,
think, I mean, could you give me that at some point?
Sure.
I don't have to have it today, I'm curious what it cost you to have me over there.
precinct one barn is about $50 just for the internet part.
A month,
Yes.
I'm talking about like a year annually, what do you think it costs?
Copiers, phones,
Yeah.
all electronics, connections, firewalls,
Yeah, I had to break. it out for the phones.
campsites.
Some have-
I would like to know.
picnic tables,
Cameras.
cameras.
Cafeteria.
Cap-
Least.
Telephones, the whole works, right?
Whatever it costs their office, for me to have an office over there, I'd like to know them.
There's 2 phones. We don't count your computer though, because your computer's low here. I mean, I do your office here, but not count. Least would be. And the copier is coming up. What about the cameras? Do we have, I have made some cameras. We do have some.
If they're up and they're connected, they need to. Which kind of goes back to more maintenance. We've got more cameras at tower sites, that's more firmware updates that you gotta keep up with. Everything's just, every time we add, we got more time.
We put cameras in our barn this year. They just were Amazon or whatever, just, like, loan stuff. Do y'all have anything over that? I mean, it's,
We didn't know anything about it.
you do now,
Just bought it from Amazon.
hey, I guess,
Well-
why?
I would.
Brendan's trying to keep that secret.
What,
Won't tell anybody.
what are we protecting against with cameras? I guess, my question.
They have security holes in them, just like a laptop does. And if they find that and it's exploited, then they get in, then they get into the network. Well, they can't get into the network because you are kind of off on your own right now.
But
In a
it goes
sense.
back to the whole firewall thing. Once we hook that up. But you do have a tunnel coming back as soon as you establish that PC VPN. So
Well, that's why, yeah, we lost because somebody broke in and stole some stuff from this. So we ordered some things.
Well, they like game cameras or something.
No, it's like game or whatever,
They just, they're motion sensitive, they send something to your phone or something.
Yeah, I mean. It's like a home.
Well, I don't think
experience
they're-
is what it is.
they're not network connected,
No,
so they won't get.
They're internet connected though.
they are internet connected.
There's a lot of cameras in my yard in
When
there.
they're, yeah, evidently on their,
Well, they won't be on
Just
the new
check it out.
firewall. They won't be on the new firewall that comes back to the courthouse. Unless you can certify their security.
I just think that I think whatever we had over there was overkill. And I think it was running a prison system, looked like it's running a prison system. I mean, we're disturbing people's sleep over there with lights. Like, when I took
yeah, I
office,
never understood how come that's not on the ocean.
Is that-
Well, it's not like on a sensor at night or something.
I don't know, but I mean, it was like.
It's bright.
Yeah, you got a lot of lights over there.
You got a lot of cameras. You got a lot of radios to make that work.
But they got a drug on our lawn, it didn't alert anybody.
We didn't have,
It's not gonna do that. It's not monitored like that.
we didn't have crash on
Not like
monuments,
one.
that's for.
We've never had a problem with that. We've never had a problem with that. Ever, before the cameras, we've never had a problem with that.
That's good.
Well, that helped justify the cost. Problem.
Ours
because-
there,
It's kind of thing. You
busted the gates open and stole fuel.
kind of one of those things, you don't have them, something happens, you wish you had them. Then you have them, nothing
We
happens.
shut the
Oh,
power-
why do I have
shut
them?
the power off to the, we don't always, but we try to remember to shut the power off to the fuel pumps at night.
We do that now too.
And,
That's why.
I wouldn't mind having one of those promotion light, I wouldn't mind having like what you have on my fuel tanks at my office.
Ours shows the front gate, little tanks, the door, that they put.
It's probably a whole lot cheaper, what he's got than what I've got, right?
Here's it costing anything. It's already put in place. Now you could.
There's a
you
monthly
could simply-
service.
You could have Michael move those cameras over if you wanted to.
When a dump truck breaks loose in the middle of the night and runs into one.
Yeah, you wonder what happened, yeah.
I don't think we
We
have.
could.
Service.
You should see about moving those cameras over up to fuel
I don't
tanks.
think we wanted to service.
They're not on the fuel tanks. That was the number one thing with on precinct 3 when Keith was there, was to put the cameras on the tanks. That's why you've got yours.
I think,
You had the camera on the tanks.
I don't have a camera.
Okay.
At all on my place.
I thought Keith had one on the tanks.
I don't think they ran through IT that I'm aware of, unless he did some kind of game camera.
I think pretty much the only place that they didn't have a camera was in his office.
Y'all's place? Mitch,
Hmm?
at your place?
Yeah, when I got there, yeah, I'm pretty sure there wasn't any in the bathroom, but I'm
If
not.
there's cameras on my place, I've never seen them.
Well, you had.
I wasn't involved,
Dump
but
truck
there was.
breaking loose for some reason.
I know there were talks about it, but I don't ever think.
And we have an alarm system on everything. You know, except for the gate.
We have alarms at, I didn't bring that one up. Definitely 3, I think. Do we have an alarm at yours? Do we have an alarm at yours?
I don't know.
Where would the alarm go?
My alarm is through that terrible,
Yeah, you have a security.
Was that where, I wonder if that camera went through them that was there. I don't remember because Keith handled all that.
yeah, and whenever there's something happens, it notifies them and then it comes to my phone.
Mm-hmm. Monitored system.
And I know, I mean, it alerts my phone when somebody disarms the alarm and who it is. You know,
Alarm systems.
Well, anyways, I just want to know what my office, satellite office was costing your office.
You think 3
Or
alarms?
offset that somehow.
Yeah, I don't, that's the only alarm that has an alarm system. It's pretty secure.
That depends on how many times Lisa calls.
So he's got an
She
alarm
has all
system.
your-
You're probably about to get a call.
Uh-oh.
I got a new tool yesterday, so. We don't know how to use it, but.
Is it another camera system?
Let's talk for the group.
that, what you just said though, like on my fuel tanks, it wouldn't hurt to have a gate camera.
Then it'll just go straight to your phone. It's not gonna alert you. It's not a monitoring system like the alarm.
Right.
You'll know on your phone, hey, somebody went over and stole my fuel.
The way you're set up, you know, if somebody comes into the gate.
No, my gate is not on the alarm.
I don't know what else on your alarm, but
Uh,
you got a motion? Out in the yard? No, because it'd be catching cats and raccoons and everything else. So
we've got 2 keypads. No, 1 keypad, but I've got alarm in 2 buildings. But they're hooked to get to 1 keypad.
Well, if any of the commissioners want to update security, then work through IT to make sure that the equipment that we get is legit, and we'll work on our internet service when it's connected to the courthouse.
Scott, do you know, is mine work through y'all's?
the alarm is, that must have been, the camera must have been like a game camera he had out there at one time. Because it didn't come through us.
Well, I guess mine works through you because. I don't know nothing about technology, so
It can come through the IT department.
We didn't.
But now it's, you may have it hooked to the internet,
I
but
think you have it up to the internet because it's not motion, it's 24/7.
If you do that like that, y'all need to be notified.
I'd like to get through.
No, I'm just asking because what way I understood what you were saying a while ago with it, even like theirs, it's hooked through the internet. There is a chance of somebody
Yes.
getting into.
I believe
It's up to the internet, letting y'all know.
so. Send that to help desk. But when lightning strikes and blows it up, who are you gonna call to fix it?
Ghostbusters.
Well, I want to check with the Terrell County, you actually have it set up also,
I don't know.
with the county barn, only because I think I remember. Pete saying something about when we had all the equipment set up in that other location. And all the radios and stuff. I'm thinking that there was a partial contract or something that piggyback on
Last system.
county barn or something. So I may want to reach out to them just to add that.
Well, Keith's original problem was the tank. He had a cleft issue with the tank, and so. Yeah,
There may be something.
his issue wasn't in the office, it was in the yard.
Yo, make me go backwards. Look everywhere.
Yeah, you probably won't ever find it.
May not. But I mean, I don't recall seeing a camera anywhere. Now, Danny and I had discussed putting one on the fuel tank in the gate. Being that there's just a keypad or.
You could put them out there and never connect it to the internet. Something comes up missing, you can go back, rewind it, watch it, do it that way.
Yeah,
Joe, do you think there's anything we need to add for building security? I think we've got maybe a couple cameras in there just on a replacement basis
Building security where?
here.
In the courthouse?
Adding cameras, adding,
I thought we just upgraded everything and replaced all the cameras.
I know
last
we
year.
haven't, we've got a very old NVR. One of the NVRs is full.
I'll upgrade that drives on.
Yeah.
Well, do the research and figure out if we need to add to it. I mean, this is separate.
The only reason I bring it up is because they never asked me for anything until after budget and they start asking me for things.
Who's they?
Fabio.
Well, the sheriff is statutorily over.
There's been a little, with the cameras, because it's kind of a network thing, because they are network cameras now, so. I've actually bought the last few. Those are network cameras.
Yeah, if you would get with, find out if there's any additional camera setting and not. Cause you do the, I guess the TAC office does their own, right? And then the JPs do their own cameras, correct?
JPs have their own fund for that. Yes, sir, and that was in here. We didn't, what is that, 018
Right.
510?
495. Well, I don't know if that's.
Well, 495 is
JP.
miscellaneous. There's a 402, contract services that we do. We do pay some alarms out of this, for the JP's alarms come out of that. Under the miscellaneous, they have 10,000 budgeted. But there's a 576 in electronic equipment.
Which one are you looking at? Who's?
This is a different line item completely. This is JP Security Fund, not JP Technology Fund.
Justice.
Or is it a
It's
building
not,
technology?
it's justice. It's not JP.
Justice Force,
Right.
right? 018-510, we do alarms, we do panic buttons, if anything to secure the
Right.
courtrooms. There's only $5,000 that was budgeted, and I was gonna ask if we can make that 15,000 to cover any extra cost. I mean, it's just it's a funded, it's not a tax funded, it's a court funded.
Right.
So-
Court fees is what funds that.
Yes, sir, and I was gonna see if,
And that's what I'm trying to find out is.
yeah. If we've got the funds, if we could use that for anything like panic button systems, anything we might need to replace in those
Right.
areas, cameras,
Right.
that kind of thing, does come out of that
Okay.
for the JPs. Now you asked about, was it East Annex?
Well, the justice fund also includes district court. actually money from the district court comes in, so it includes some into the,
Right, but not, East Annex doesn't have a courtroom, so we could never use that for any of the regular technology funds, but that has to come. It has come out of our budget.
the East Annex doesn't have a courtroom.
So they don't fall under that. That's what we were told. They don't fall under that court. Line item. So cameras, I think we paid for, the panic buttons we paid for, the maintenance on the panic buttons we paid for.
Okay.
East Annex is the TAC office.
Yes.
And fire marshals.
Well, they don't panic.
I hope not.
All right. Anything else?
Except for Richard out there.
I can't think of anything.
Don't have any questions? Or
No, but I'm still going to, I'm still gonna oppose any kind of readers or any of that. I mean, you know, folks might have taken that as a joke, but I'm not in favor of flock cameras or cameras, readers on cars.
Yeah, information.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of that. I'm not in favor.
And I see the reason why, I mean, like, I understand block cameras trying to target maybe possibly people that have been kidnapped, or I understand that, but I still think you lose. I think you begin to lose some of your freedoms when they begin to really get intrusive about gathering information on people. Ain't none of their business what a honest everyday citizen's doing.
Courts have said that a measured approach, you can't screen out, you can't, just because you got one murder in a group of 100, you don't kill the 100 just to make sure that you got the murder.
Right.
You know? It's a
I know that.
philosophical discussion that,
No,
No.
no, these were all through.
Watch
Motorola
guard.
contract. Well, it's watch guard and Motorola bought out.
Right.
Constitution.
All right.
Stuff that gets left behind in our society, and that's what's made us have a society for 250 years.
There he is. All right, we're gonna move on
Okay.
to next item up is county treasurer. Mr. Kenny is here. And did you have anything specific? You upped your office supplies 1,500 and you upped your travel
Yeah.
1,000.
But basically, it's just, I put salary down, that's just habit.
Right.
I get my glasses on, see. Basically, there was three things I was asking for. Under office supplies, ever since we've been in acting fund, changing over, we've had to get them to help us do the W-2s and 1099s, so. I think the 1099s, I mean, the W-2s usually run about $1,000 to do that, because it's a different process when we had that data, I used to do all that myself. But when we changed over, I didn't have the capability of knowing the process.
We're having a company do it for us now, right?
Well, it's a third party.
Okay.
That's where the money's going.
So it would actually go under contract services rather than office
Okay,
supplies.
that's fine.
So if you want to move.
I'll have to, I don't think I even have that line, see,
Yeah, you do.
I do.
457, maintenance service contracts. So yeah, anything that we having a third party do business for us, we need to move to.
So I guess that means leave the 3,500 is what it was,
Okay,
and put about 1,500 there. I'm just guessing. Cause the 1099s were an additional 300 or so, I think, when we done those. So I could put, I guess move that down there, like you said.
okay, that'll work.
Okay, the other two things. Training, I was wanting to up mine by 1,000. And I would like to, the reason I do that, so I can, every other year, I would like to take one of my employees to training. I've never done that since I've been doing it. I know a lot of people do, but I never have done that. But I think I should be able to take one of my employees at least once a year, alternate years, I'm just guessing it's about $1,000 probably for them to go training, so that's what that's for.
Okay,
So, and then the other thing I had was, down here, last year, the office equipment was taken off, because I've always had $500 there, but I think I've only used it once, 2 or 3 years ago. I bought desks for Irma and Lisa at the time. No, actually, it's right after April went to work. But I'm gonna need 2 chairs for each one of those girls. Their chairs about wore out, so I put $500 back under office equipment.
All
So
right.
that's the three things I had, was just to cover and I know what's gonna happen, because we're going, to another program here. We're gonna have the same issue with the W-2s, because it's gonna be a major process to combine AccuFund and our new, it's not easy to do that.
right.
So I'm gonna have to have some help with that. I know that when that time comes. So that's what that for. Then I was just asking to be able to take one of my employees' training, and the other deal was 2 chairs. I'm just guessing $500, something like that. That was my three things I had. That's basically it.
All right. Any questions?
That's
So you're all out, just.
All right, thank you.
I think that training is probably important.
Yeah, every time I go, I think, well, I wish so-and-so was here to hear this, You need to be hearing this instead of me,
And
That's all.
it really does help them out when
Yeah, it
they
does.
get, especially when they get with peers and
And they see other people going, that's right. That's all I have. If y'all got a
Alright.
question.
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
much.
you.
All right, next up is district court. This would be Judge Martin's court. He submitted it and did not specifically need ask for time. There's not a whole lot of changes. Most of it is the same. And the only real difference is down under jurors expense, where he upped it from 40,000 to 100,000. The thing is, we pay it out, but we get reimbursed 80% of it. But you don't put the reimbursement part in your expense deal, so that's going to show up in a revenue account. So even though we're increasing it, $60,000, we're getting most all of that back in a revenue account. So that was one that he came to the court to ask to get the because they upped the juror fees in the last year, I guess it was, from it $6 a day to $40 a day? Right. Right. So
He didn't up his postage, does that need to be looked at?
he didn't up his postage. If you look, he doesn't I don't think that
Okay.
he's never reached 750 in the past, so
Well, I knew they were talking about yesterday or Monday that the
Right.
postage was going up again.
yep,
I
July.
just want to make sure.
So, but it's not significant enough, and
Right.
I think he has enough in some other accounts to cover if it needs to. All right, any questions on the district court? All right, moving on to the county court at law. This would be Judge Winter's court, and his is pretty much the same way. This was a new court last year, and we had issues trying to figure out, especially on indigent legal aid costs, and we were in a deficit position last year and had to actually move some from contingency to cover it. But now it's settled down. We figured it out. Again, we took on CPS where we weren't doing it through our court before. So. And again, the highlighted items were the ones that he had made any changes in, but the net effect is really a decrease from, if you look at the total other costs, it went from
$5,000.
yeah. So, any questions about that?
Yeah, that's not a decrease. Doesn't have any of his salary, his top side in it.
Well, the other cost is a decrease in the other cost.
It's about 15, 16. He knocked 25,000 off of his indigent legal, but then he added 16,000 back on the three other items, so he's still.
9,000. He
$9,000.
left He left his pay.
Yes, and the other call.
Right.
Is he leaving his pay the same?
No, but
It's
he also, the whole way this thing is done makes absolutely no sense, not any more this year than it did last year.
Okay, what do you mean by that? Help me, it wasn't.
Well, last year it was common knowledge among the folks in the county that we ran a $3 million deficit. Now, is that true?
I don't know what common knowledge would be on that. Who
That-
would come
that-
up with a $3 million deficit?
Because
In the budget, yes. The actual is not.
well, but we're not talking about what's reality. We're talking about that we ask all the department heads, what is your Christmas list for this year's budget? And then you look at what you actually have, and then we have to cut the budget $3-4 million because there's a difference between what we're going to receive from the collector compared to what everybody's wish list is, $3 or $4 million.
Okay.
So a much more sensible, the way that a sensible route to this would be to say everybody gets the same exact amount of money that they got last year. If you want to move some around based on what you had, and then once the assessor collector says this is how much money this is how much we're projecting for you this next year, then we can look at, okay, what are we going to set our tax rate at? What is the new revenue? And then we can see, okay, this is how much we have. And then we can allocate to those departments what their proportionate share or what the necessities are. Then we can rank necessities. Yeah, absolutely.
It won't be so unrealistic when they come in here.
Yes.
I mean,
Right now we have folks asking for 12%, 15% pay rise.
200%.
What we're asking, over the last 2 or 3 days, we've had, 2 departments that have asked for a doubling in the size of their department or a 45, 55, 65% increase in the number of people that are in their department. How do you justify that when we've already seen the very first slide that we looked at is that the new revenue is going to be a reduction, and the only way to accomplish the tasks that we're after based on what you sent to us is an increase in the tax rate.
I think it's pretty fair to say that we are all over challenged every day. Like we don't have the funds to accomplish everything that we want to do.
No.
So we just have to prioritize and do the best we can. Cause we can't tax them out of their home to do it. And we couldn't raise the tax rate enough legally to be able to do everything we need to do.
So it sets an unrealistic expectation that from the elected officials and the department heads that, tell us what you want. And then when we go back and have to say, hey, you got to cut your budget by, X amount, you got to cut it back. And then they spend the rest of the year coming in here saying, well, you remember you took 4 vehicles away from me. No, I didn't take 4 vehicles away from you. You asked for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vehicles. And we gave you the 2 or 3 that we could afford. We didn't take 4 or 5 away from you. I gave those back. No, you never had them in the first place. It's not a sensible route to approach a budget. That's not the way we do it in our home. We say, this is what we anticipate making over this next year. This is what I think this is what we can buy.
I agree with you 100%.
We're the same way with our payroll and supervisors, and stewards of their employees' hours at the same, with all labor guidelines, entertaining lunches, usually, and their lunch, yes. Okay, there's a lot of good stewardship that could be done a lot better. Then you don't need the additional staff because they're working these good hours that they should, and not need to take comp hours every time they get right at 40, they don't have anything in there, and that happens a lot. It's the same situation.
So
Judge, do we have any ballpark of what we're what the difference is from last year to this year from the?
Not at the current time, I don't. No,
No.
I haven't gone there. I don't like to start doing calculations and not have all the numbers because the preliminary numbers always change.
Yeah, but that's kind of what we're doing here.
Well, this is the ask. It doesn't mean this is what they're getting.
Right.
But they hold it over our heads for the rest of the year. We gave up, you told us to go back and cut our budgets. Well, yes, we told you to go back and cut your budget because we gave them an unrealistic expectation that they could ask for a 17% pay rise for their people because they're not being paid, equal to that department over there, or we need 2 more people here, whatever the case may be. Then they're disappointed for the rest of the year. Well, they took away my, this, or they took away that person that I was going to add. We could have done so much more. It's not a sensible, in my opinion, it's not a sensible route to accomplish the tasks that are before us.
When do those numbers come out?
The end of July. The tax rates will get published the end of July.
So we'll know what our revenue is at the end of July.
And the budget's supposed to be passed in July 3rd.
Yes, the initial one.
See,
And
that-
we'll use a preliminary amount for the initial one.
That's the problem we're getting into is I agree with Cliff 100%, but I see your point too. We don't get the number till July 30th and July 31st, we've got to submit a budget.
This is correct. It puts us in.
It makes no sense.
Well, again,
But I think we could set the expectation for the departments to say, let's look at what you spent up to this point last year. And don't come in here asking for your Christmas list, come in here and adjust where you're over and under.
Submit last year's budget
Yes.
and then we
And
change
see
it.
where you're at.
After that.
Because they're, like juror expenses or whatever it is that they come in there and say, we really undershot that. You can adjust that, but to come in and ask for unrealistic expectations is, and he's right, we have heard that. You remember y'all cut our budget, that's not fair either.
We didn't cut the budget. We cut their ask, but they hold it over. They hold it over the court, and every time they come in here, and I'm not saying every department, but you can recall that when people have come in here and said, you remember you guys told us we cut this out of our miscellaneous, and that we'd have to come back and ask you, so you got to approve this.
Use that issue, they see one department got pretty much everything they wanted, and one department feels like they cut.
Somebody's always gonna be mad.
60%.
I've been mad every year. Every year I've been
And I
here.
think that's what happened.
No, and that's
And so that's where,
and that's valid.
This and that didn't get this, that's for our, instead of, hey, we're a team. And we've got to work together, and this one here needs this more today, than this.
So would it make sense with what Cliff is saying? Judge, we just say, hey, submit last year's budget. You get your numbers on July 30th. We submit the same budget as last year on July 31st. We get our numbers. We've got X amount of dollars more. The people come in here and they start asking, well, we get so much more and stuff, and then we just basically do our budget pretty damn quick in August. Because we know what we're working with.
Yeah,
It's a lot
and
more accurate.
it would be, in my opinion, it would be more accurate, but also,
I think it's important that you let the department heads come and present what they feel like that they need to do their job.
I don't.
Okay, well, that's where
I
our
think-
difference of opinion
I
is.
think they would have that, they would have that option,
I-
just after we know. I mean, they can come here and ask for $10 million after we're done, they can ask for it all day long, just like they're asking for it all day long here.
They're doing it right now. It's just a timing issue is what you're
And
saying.
yeah, I think it's just a timing issue. I'm not saying you're doing it wrong, you're the wrong way, you're handcuffed because you can't get anything till July 30th.
Well, one of the difficulties with this process, in addition to that, is that the department heads come in here and it doesn't take any. We're not asking for any justification for what their increase or decrease in the budget is, which is what happens in the corporate world. Oh, you want to increase? You want a 20% increase in this? Why? Justify why you want an increase, or justify why you need another person in your department or two more people in your department, because I think we could do better, is not a justification. If you say, this is how many tickets, the, let's just take the fire marshal yesterday. He asked for 3 additional personnel in his office. If he said, this is how many applications for septic system we got in 24, this time we got in 25, this is what we've got already this year, and this is how far we are behind, and this is what it takes in order to accomplish an inspection or get something, in place. That makes sense. And you can say, you know what? The septic applications, with the growth that we have projected over this next year, it would require them to actually do work. To come in here and just say, you know what, I would like a 5% increase here, and I want a 7% increase here. And then that, to me, that's not doing the work. That's a Christmas list. On the other hand, if the sheriff came in and said, last year we handled this number of calls. We would like to begin doing criminal investigation, or we'd like to do this, or the district attorney's office saying, this is how many files we have on our desk. This is how many we had last year. This is why we need X personnel. We could reduce the bottleneck if we. I don't necessarily see that what they're doing is the credit that you're giving them for the work.
And usually they have to come back. When we get the numbers, they come back. They get back to the real world.
Yeah, they come back, but they feel like we've cut them.
Huh?
They come back and feel like we've cut them.
Yeah, because they have to cut because their Christmas, what they wished for was unrealistic.
I mean, there are some on the court that say we want to give a 3% raise. I don't care what it costs us. We go up on, we want to go up to, if we just look at what occurred, what the ask was from the first day, we're going to have to raise taxes. If we add in what the ask was on the second day, we're going to go up to the rate. And I don't see that as beneficial to the process. I see it as detrimental to the process. I'd like all new equipment, and I'd like from a barn stall be painted the same color, and for not to have to do, but we can't do that under these circumstances. Because as somebody pointed out yesterday, which I don't agree with, if you keep saying we're a poor county or we're just barely scraping by, then absolutely, we are a poor county and we're just absolutely barely scraping by. But if we say, you know what, this is what our revenue is and we're using it wisely. You are what you eat. You are what you say. We live the way we want to live. We want to be agricultural. We're agricultural. There's nothing detrimental about that. That's just what it is.
Yeah, when you look at the taxable property, I don't know how to say that, but like it's 12 billion, and then by the time the exemptions are taken off, hallelujah for the exemptions, and it's 6 billion. We are what we are.
We are what we are. And we're out here talking about this is how much technology we need. Do we? Is that really what's required? I mean, if you listen to a lot of the folks during the election process, and take solace in this, is that y'all will be rid of me in 6 or 7 months anyway, at the very latest. But if if we have to figure out how we want to live in this county, how we want to grow the county. And if we want to grow the county with all the, technology and all these things, some folks may say that they'd rather have a road. They'd rather have potholes filled and seal coating and things of this nature.
Amen.
So we just really have to decide. And from what I'm hearing in these, both last year and what I've heard over the last few days, nothing is justified. No increases are justified. No personnel have been justified as to why we need them. You have some constables out there that are getting by. He said, I work all the time. That's what we're supposed to do. We all have stuff on our desks that we're working on, new projects, old projects, but nobody has justified why we need the Christmas list. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, some of the departments, I thought about this last night. I don't know exactly what their responsibilities are. Like, what exactly is their responsibilities? And how many irons in the fire do they have that they don't have to be doing? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, what is the baseline responsibility that they have? That's telling me I'll have to find out. Like, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, because on the constables on the north side, they're running bare minimum. I'm like, I don't really know what the constable's specifically responsible for. I mean, my constable didn't even come in here and ask for anything. Like, and I know he's busy. He probably works 70 hours a week and he's cut back. Like, he works all the time. So I just don't know. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I just don't understand what the difference is.
All right, let's move on.
Moving on.
Yes, sir.
Moving on.
County court law, any changes, any discussion on that? Next is the district attorney. District attorney said the exact same budget as last year. Okay, moving on. District clerk, pretty much the same budget, asked for additional $1,000 in training and $500 in postage.
She did say that she wanted to do the line item on, we talked about that yesterday, so.
Okay.
Line item on what?
She wanted to,
Well, as long as she takes it out of one of the other, she can take it out of postage because. And Ben, did you want to talk about the uniform line item? You texted me yesterday. I didn't see it till after the meeting. So, okay.
Yeah, well, if I could, there's a lot of departments that would like to have, a uniform. Okay, and there's, no question that police and firemen, they're professionals that require a uniform. But we're also getting internally here, people wanting to have uniform for their staff. This is they're talking about, I think some of the other departments would like to have them. I understand that could be a thing if you are a citizen facing department. Okay, that may add to professionalism of the department. We talked about it in my department. It's a nice to have for us, right? But in the same breath, we're saying, well, that cost, how does it benefit the county? So from the auditors, we're sitting out in the basement there, and a sort of uniforms, a similar shirt or whatever would be, good for team spirit and all. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really benefit, the county.
Well, it does from the standpoint of security also, where you can, the public can identify people who are employees of the county. Mm-hmm.
And that's,
It can repost the badge. You'll be both.
well, for us, we're paying our check. I pay for the jacket, I pay for the emblem on there, for their names on there, and deputy personally, because when we're going to election location and stuff, they need to know who we are.
But that's kind of like what Ben said, if you're dealing with the public, it makes sense, because if you don't,
Right, but that's why I brought that in addition.
So I was corresponding with the TAC legal department and fell over back to me, because I had inquiry about that, can we have a uniform budget for people that are not in law enforcement? And, you know, his reply was, there's nothing against that if the elected officials or elected department official wants to do that. They have to put that in their budget. And Commissioner's Court has to approve the budget, and it's in. Okay. And again, what I said earlier is, like, do we want everybody to have that look? As you said, yeah, it could be a security issue, professionalism, a lot of things. Just, you know, that it looks a little nicer to have, you know, citizen facing staff in a uniform, some uniform, polo shirts with embroidered jackets. So, you know, we could discuss that, you know, the pros and cons of that. And at the end of the day, do we want to spend the money? I mean, 'cause that's where it's coming from. And we're talking about, do we want to have increases or no increases or additional staff or anything else? This is just. Any thoughts?
I'll go back to what Cliff said. With these hearings, I'll put this. I think the people who should come talk to us before we have the budget are the people who are asking for more employees. And justification why. But as far as it's uniforms, goes back to everything else. Do we have the money for it? Is it justified? And we don't know that until we have a number. Now, people asking for new employees, justify it, and then we consider it when we know what we're talking about, what we're doing with it. So I don't know if this is off topic. I don't know why people come in here and do their budget unless they have some significant changes that we have to think about and discuss before we know what the money is.
Well, that is the issue. That's the big issue. Is what do we have to spend this year? We don't know.
We don't know. And we're doing a budget.
Normally though,
Even once you get the amount you got to spend, depending if you figured out what the tax rate's gonna be, then there's gonna be the argument, who gets the amount we have to spend.
that's right.
That's right, like it is now, that we'd be doing in August when we know what we're dealing with.
You know, one time deal too.
I think instead of doing budget workshops in June, we should be doing them in August.
I think we're just trying to, I think what we're talking about is people's expectations to some degree, like department heads' expectations.
Yeah, some of them are out
I
of
think
control.
that's what we're talking about. I don't think we're talking about dollars. as
We've
much
already
as
heard
we are-
already about what's coming tomorrow, which is insane.
As far as the uniforms go, I like for my guys to have some kind of uniform on out in the public. If they're standing in the road,
You know. That should be, it's steward of the money. You know, I mean, I can tell you, my company, I feel like I'm a good student, so you might say, I make sure that they go for it, and any kind of, you know, whatever. I would not be going to practice spending money. You know, my plans are to make sure that my staff, going out in election, that I'm in, or on Friday, they want to wear a shirt. They got to wear a shirt, you know, it's not gonna be every single day, we usually dress up, you know, just saying, for us.
what I was gonna say was that when you're out in the public at those volatile places, election cycles, you need to have something that distinguishes you from the average everyday public.
Absolutely.
So. If I have a guy standing in the road trying to stop traffic without a uniform on, he's just another pedestrian.
I mean, I'm watching two shirts every day, you know what I'm saying, so that I make sure that I've got something I'm wearing, for when I do, you know, when I'm going to.
And most of the time, in our budgets, and yours probably, there's like. Money you can move
Absolutely.
a little bit. You're not talking about $10,000, you're talking about $1,000 maybe. That's. That's my opinion.
The main thing the money is usually the salaries, but I don't think people realize. What we pay for health insurance. That's about $1,000 a month per person, and ours is free. They don't take that into consideration.
When you look at the salary of just our road hands, just their base salary, and then you add that. Insurance and
Yeah,
retirement, it goes up $20,000.
exactly.
They say, well, but then you hear people say, we're not paying them a living wage, we need to pay them a living wage. But I don't think the public knows what we're paying our hands right now.
In my opinion, is we, just like what me and Andy did. We did this salary survey, and it's fair. I mean, your livable wage, and my livable wage, I may need $40,000 more dollars than you do, but I'm not gonna get it. I just need to, I'm just like, manage it home, you get what you get.
When I agreed to work for Van Zandt County, I agreed to work for what they're paying me.
Nobody forced,
Nobody held a gun on me and said, hey.
But I do think you need to be comparable to other counties like Van Zandt County. Because there you go into employee retention. So I think what we did on that salary survey was.
Well, if we're gonna talk about that,
Right.
we are, obviously. I won't be held hostage by that as a commissioner. If they wanna drive to Dallas. And I had to talk to my men about that this morning. If you wanna get in your car and drive to Dallas for another 58 cents an hour, you'll lose money. You got good insurance here, you're right here at home. You can drive to your house in about 15 minutes. You're working in the community that you live in. I wasn't having complaints, I was just telling them my opinion about it. You know, I don't think we need to be, $10,000 less.
Well, that's the way it is now. It's competitive where it's
Yeah.
not, work, but before me and Andy got here,
I understand that.
they were.
I
had to go to
suffered
Kaufman County
with some of that.
for $30,000 more, which it was worth it. It's not worth it now because we're staying competitive with them. Right. So you have to, I guess, keep up with the Joneses, is what you want to say. You know, you got to stay competitive.
But we have an expectation now that we're gonna get a raise every year. And I don't know that sometimes we can't do that because what we generate has come down this year,
Right.
you know, so I know
think
I can feel the heat coming off Jessica over there right now, but.
For the employees, part of it is, you know, inflation. Gas is going up, groceries are going up, you've got to remember that. That will, part of my stuff. Single mom, stuff like that is what I'm doing,
Taxpayers are too.
you know, exactly. And so, you know, daycare, I mean, that's what. Like, that's why they think that they should.
I understand.
But you can't, you just said it, the taxpayers, they get their raises.
No, they don't. They don't get a raise every year, Bobby.
None of them do. I've been there, I've worked out there,
You work for a government office.
but I've worked out there before then.
They don't get a raise every year.
I will say, I don't think any of us know, but I've been in the private sector. I've been on my own too, nothing with non-government. And mine always, when stuff ticked up, I gave them raises because I knew what I did. I raised my prices. Therefore, people paid them more money.
I didn't hear any of the items that the IT talked about today is going down in price. I didn't see any of the materials that we use in paving a road going down in price. So, you know, you just have to be strategic in how you approach the budget process. And you have to be strategic. And now, if we just talk about elected officials, and this is what some of the argument is that, you know, by not having these department heads, or more specifically, the elected people come in here and tell us what their expectations are and what they want to try to do, that we're somehow undercutting the reason that they were elected in the first place. But that takes away why the commissioner's court was elected. The commissioner's court is elected to be the administrative arm of the county. You were elected to be the county clerk. You're elected to be the sheriff. You're elected to be the district clerk. Your job is not to be the administrator of the money. That's what the commissioner's court has been established for. So the commissioner's court is abdicating in some respects their duty by putting it back on the elected official to come up with, or in the fire marshal's case, a hired individual to come up with what we want them to do as far as our job. Our job is to do the administration. This is how much you have to work with over this next year. This is what you will use to do your job. So,
Well, we're the bad guys.
Well, this is based on the revenue. This is how much government we give.
yeah, that's exactly right. And it's the people's right to say, we want less government. You have less to work with.
The bottom line is, it's not our money, it's taxpayers' money, and we need to keep the tax rate as low as possible to run a sufficient government.
Well, the prices go up, all
Of the costs go up.
What we're dealing with private companies, right?
We're not saying it's not gonna go up, because our stuff is going up, we have to do it very responsibly.
Yeah, we just provide less government because all the IT services increase the value, but why did that happen? Because their costs went up, they raised their prices, our costs go up. We deal with.
On a pretty regular basis, people call in and they say, there are people speeding up and down my road and they're stealing stop signs. I want you to put a 35 mile per hour speed limit sign out there and get the sheriffs over here to do. I said, that's not, first of all, they're going to steal the 35 mile an hour sign. And second of all, you said you don't want more sheriff's deputies. You want to keep the tax rate as low as possible. So we have one per precinct. That's what you get. And they will be where they are. And if they're on call after call after call, they're not going to be out there. Plus, you told me last week that you wanted me to pave your road. I paved it. Now, yes, people are going 85 miles an hour down that road. You can't. So they want speed bumps. I said, don't worry. In about 8 months, I'll have your reverse speed bumps reinstalled. Don't worry. It'll happen. So
they better vote yes on the little CAD in November, because it's more money that's not going to property taxes.
Sorry, just throwing my oar in the water there.
Is that not true, Mitch?
No, there'll be more money.
Okay, and it's not affecting property taxes.
We're not, dude, are we?
They're on TV.
Okay, so, yeah, it will be, but we're not telling them where we're gonna spend, it, so we don't need to have that discussion right now, but. Well, we're gonna do that by precinct, aren't we?
What's that?
I think. I mean, that's
if the CAD passes, the CAD is anticipated to be by precinct. So if a precinct doesn't accept it, they vote against it, then that precinct won't have, or if an ESD takes over the majority of your area and you're cut out, you're going to have a very small pinch of.
Mine's already gonna cut out.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Is there any point moving on? Yeah, do I really want to look at what elected officials have requested?
I don't know that
just say
the folks that didn't come in here, are generally not asking for increases in their budget.
Well, they have some line item increases, yes. Most all of them have an increase in training or mileage or
I'll be at JP1.
JP1. JP1 training went up $500 and travel went up $1,500. Everything else is pretty much the same.
Do we want to talk about, they've all requested
An increase for their employees
Yeah.
from clerk to,
administrator? Yeah, trying to get those words out, can't get them out.
yep.
It's funny, they hadn't, okay, what did they talk to you about since they,
Need some budgetary information and I'm calling it. So they want to know the hourly rate pays for chief deputy, assistant chief deputy, and the clerks
Right.
in the other offices, which is a lot higher than what theirs know. And they have one full-time and one part-time each day.
Right.
Their full-time that runs the office makes what a base part base.
And they'll be here tomorrow, Judge, they're scheduled for
They-
tomorrow.
So they, right
Who
now,
is?
it's $32.02 an hour,
just one?
which may be a little bit more than regular butter. They may make 19 cents. Then you have an assistant chief deputy that makes $21.32. And
So $2 an hour.
they are $2 an hour less than chief deputy.
Right. So they're asking for a $2 plus their whatever the percentage increase is for this year. Right.
That's probably what they're asking for. You know, I don't know.
That's what-
Starting point's done, so you go to the assistant chief.
That's what my JP asked, that is asking for.
They all ask.
Yeah.
Mhm. So their
Like-
duties are essentially the same as a chief clerk?
And they have courts and all of those, and they're part of all the courts and everything.
I talked to Judge Shinny today, and they, right now, make sure I get this right, I think you talked to about, right now it's $20,000 and the state's talking about going up to 30 or maybe even 50,000.
Well, I mean, there was a proposal last time about increasing their jurisdictional limit from 20,000 to 50,000. I mean, we don't know that that'll pass, but they still are handling a considerable amount. And that's the kind of justification that I'd like to see for moving somebody from a clerk to, they have the responsibilities of running the office, handling all the cases, putting all the citations out, coordinating with the constable. That's the justification for why somebody needs to not be a clerk. They're not responsive. They're actually initiating, this is how we're going to get this job done.
Yes.
So it sounds like the first question we need to ask is, why are you just voting why?
Make a little bit in the chief deputy. And they didn't ask me those numbers, they just asked the chief deputy, which to me, they mentioned that as one, which not. But, I mean, I totally see their direction, why their support personnel needs to be paid what it is.
All right.
Just one. There's only one JP from these one, Judge?
Yes, Judge Shannon. JP2. Here we have asked for training. The postage went up 350. Office supplies went up 300. Training went up 2,000. And those were the main ones.
Do all the JP courts handle DPS?
I think that, yes,
Yeah.
no, who does?
They handle,
So each time the DPS officer gives a ticket, it all goes to the check.
It all goes to two.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was asking, how come two has these increases, but the others don't?
Also DPS.
and why is that?
I know their numbers have increased a lot. I talked to Ed about several times when he's asking about this, and he specifically is one who reached out to me several times asking about. because of the additional load that's now back on their court due to having all of our troopers back in our area.
When did it go to just two? 'Cause I remember when I got tickets when I was younger, I'd go to four.
Yeah, you go wherever and pay.
All of them.
It's gonna be like.
And how did that get established?
Or you know.
Doesn't DPS come in tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, in precinct three, the DTS trooper.
So like Andy said, who established that? How come if you could? But wasn't like that when I was.
But DPS is coming in, we'll be able to ask them.
Probably because the court's close.
Okay.
All right, JP 3. 400 increase in office supplies, $300 increase in postage, $300 increase in contract services, $600 increase in training, $100 increase in travel. Close to a $3,000 increase, which,
Yeah, it'd be good to have a justification for what.
okay. County judge, the only increase that I did put in there, well, was $1,000 in training, because I intend to take another a training class where I have to pay the travel, and I didn't do much this year, and bonding. Those are the only two changes. Now, one of the other things is my miscellaneous expenses is what pays for any town hall meeting costs and things like that. And do we want to increase that for any kind of meetings related to the CAD or a bond in May? Do you want to increase that to cover cost of rental for facilities to do presentations?
Yes.
Do we, well, hold on.
It was already over now, aren't you?
I know with my precinct, I won't have to rent anything.
That's correct.
I don't know about the others though.
Don't think I.
Precinct, to get the Grand St. Celine, Pavilion, the Chamber of Commerce Pavilion in, Grand Celine and Wills Point, it's $125 or $150 per event.
Remodel going on right now.
Right.
Remodel going on the Wheels one too.
Right, both of them are.
Do y'all have any, we've, Keegan Fire Station or
We've been working on.
a place that you, that place they have a town hall?
That's what we work.
Do you mention?
All right, well, let's leave it at where's that?
It might be helpful to put into your budget about $200,000 for this next year related to outside counsel costs. The district attorney's office is not going to help with any green energy issues.
That would go under non-department.
Okay.
We're getting to that. We're getting to that.
Well, isn't that part of the DA's job? Or no?
Not the district, it's a criminal district attorney is what we have.
Well, but in a county that doesn't have a county attorney, like Henderson County has a county attorney, they handle. There's the district attorney in ours is responsible for both civil and criminal issues. And if the district attorney chooses not to participate or do anything related to that, then it falls on the commissioner's court to pay those costs.
Did we put some back last year on the for retainer?
We'll get there. Okay.
Using him person, sometimes we have to reach out to a second attorney. That's a lot higher cost. We have to pay some.
Yeah.
So that might, when you actually start paying, you would think. Hold on.
All right, next item, human resources. And you just want to explain your miscellaneous expenses, that's really the only
Yes,
change.
sir. Benefit program, our employees earn time for getting their physicals and things like that, and they come on. We earn so much money, and it comes directly into our general fund revenue account, and then it's Mr. explains, we just bought our check. It went through board maybe 3 weeks ago. And that is money for us to use back to the employees on whatever we choose to.
This is reimbursement money.
Yes, and so it belongs to this lady's department of HR. So my hope is that you can leave it alone, not put it into the general fund, because I don't spend all my money by September 30th. Because it was given us to use for employees. It didn't come from citizens. It came from employer rewards where tax gives us money back. I'm hoping, as the future grows, then we can do things for our employees, like maybe have a little bit of exercise equipment or something in a little room or something one of these days. That would be ideal. But we can do that if we choose, say, I'd love to see if these other programs say, let's do a luncheon for all employees. We each spend $2,000, so we can do something and come to go thing to appreciate them, or giving them incentives back, say, hey, keep remembering to do your physical, keep remembering to do these things, keep remembering to do those things. Emily's right now trying to get a few of the public county members to come for open enrollment. And if so, I might have some little snack things and stuff like that, public county things, to appreciate them, protein bars, Gatorades, that type of stuff.
So this is basically, it's,
Keep my money.
yes. And you can't, that money comes in from another source. It's not
Right.
taxpayer money. So we just want to leave it in there. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, could you repeat that?
If you want, we
What a
said,
troublemaker.
Okay, non-department. This is the next one. If we go down, this is where we have our legal expense, and that's typically used, the cost related to lawsuits against the county or suits against the county. And we have Texas Association of County that does that, but we have a $25,000 deductible. And we've had several suits, jail related, that we've been dealing with in that regard. So this is where we would, you're talking about, do we need to up this in the event that we're gonna have to do our own?
Well, I think the commissioners court has to make a determination next year whether or not they're just gonna let this stuff expire and, companies do, what other counties are doing. You don't have, you don't have the support that you had before. So either you just let the moratorium go, you let the, temporary restraining order go, and you let the, battery energy storage and data centers, solar, wind, do what they will. That's what the people in the community voted for. So, I mean, it's completely justifiable if that's the way that everybody wants to go.
Right, and we will know more about the moratorium whenever the Attorney General issues their opinion about our temporary moratorium. And in the event he rules against it, then we would have to rescind it anyway.
Now, that's an opinion.
Okay.
There have been,
And who will this commissioner's court, whose opinion will this commissioner court be using in the legal, in the future?
that an attorney general is one half of the equation. The other half is the judicial system. The judicial system makes the determination. An attorney general's opinion is just saying, based on everything that we know, we believe that the courts would say X, Y, Z.
So
It's not a full.
This would have to go to court to see if the
Yeah.
moratorium
Yeah.
upholds
Yeah.
itself.
If the attorney general's office says, you know what, we believe, and that's what they say at the end, we believe that, and that's why it's their opinion. Their opinion is based on statute. And our entire process up till now has not been to stop green energy. Our process has been to prolong this until such time as the legislature makes definitive determinations. Just like in gambling or whether a county is wet or dry or partial or whatever the case may be, the Attorney General issues only an opinion. They don't, those opinions are not binding. And I mean, they're not just picking it out of a hat saying, well, we believe XYZ. They're basing it on truth. They're basing it on what they believe. But that's why there are appeals courts all over the place. There are state appeals courts in many different areas. There are federal appeals courts. It's so important in the state of Texas that there is a civil Supreme Court, and there is a Court of Criminal Appeals that handles appeals, because they're saying not only did the Attorney General's office get it wrong, or the criminal defense attorney get it wrong, it went to appeal and they too got it wrong. And the final word is XYZ. So that's what I'm saying, is that no, just because the Attorney General come back and says, you can't, we don't believe that this was, in line with the law. What do they not agree with? They don't agree that the governor had the ability to put these companies on a prohibited list, or they believe that we should not have given a temporary stay until such time as they completed another investigation. That's the reason why we did what we did. We're the only county that has a moratorium. We're the only county that has a temporary restraining order against bringing lithium batteries into the county, because we took a measured, straightforward approach. But the citizens of the county did not want that. And that's okay.
Did not want us to take the measured approach.
They didn't.
What didn't they want? I'm sorry.
They didn't want the author of those, myself, to remain on the commissioner's court, and they didn't want the district attorney who had prosecuted those, and to some degree, each one had participated in both of those, from being in office. So absolutely, the people of Van Zandt County did not want us to slow down or stop the progression of green energy or the data centers.
All right.
Well, I wouldn't say you can. That's broad. The DA was county with precinct 2, so they wanted to come in. But you were representing all of us.
That's right.
Well, the county said that to begin with, that it would be a hill to die on, standing against green energy projects coming into our county.
Who said it would be a hill to die on?
Well, that's the public's general consensus. What I heard was they don't want those things here.
That's the case, and that's why he's not going to be there. He was the
That's not what they voted on.
No.
That's not, in other words, well, I can't say that. I don't disagree with Cliff, but I still think that the county would want us to try to slow those projects down. And I think, I think what Cliff said is right. We don't have the authority as a commissioner's court to stop anything like that. But the approach that he took was to give the Attorney General time to investigate the components of those projects, which gave us the authority to have a moratorium. And it is an opinion. I guess it's the highest court in the land, probably, right?
Well, the Attorney General
is not even a court, is it?
Yeah, it's not a court.
It's just an opinion. And if we're going to stand against those projects, then we better put some money back for legal defense, because we're going to be in some. The same thing with the game rooms.
That's right.
The same thing is going to happen with the game. If we decide, as a court, to rescind or repeal that because the Attorney General's opinion was that those machines are illegal, then we're probably going to be in court somewhere. We're going to have some problems.
Well, that would fall under the DA though, if that's criminal.
Well, it's an enforcement issue. You know, I would say that while we're here, I'd just say this. The Commissioners Court didn't, I think, set out to permit illegal games. They permitted a game room. And then what's been placed in them, according to the Attorney General.
It's enforcement of the game, of the laws within the game rooms.
Correct.
And we don't even know what the next attorney general's opinion is gonna be.
We don't know who the next Attorney General is
It's
going
gonna
to
go
be.
to the next meeting. So Paxton's opinion is null and void come January 1st.
Well, his opinions that have been issued are still valid. They don't become null and void.
Well, they are still his opinions. I mean, we go back and look at prior attorney generals, and still say, because X, Y, Z. For example, if we go into executive session, and one of the department heads at one point, had said, prior auditor said, no, that impacts me. I'm going to be in there. Commissioners have the right under a prior attorney general opinion, not the current attorney general, to say, no, you're not invited in here. And so we can specifically state who comes in and who does not come in, period. Doesn't matter whether it's about the auditor's office, or it's about the treasurer's office, or it's about any of the offices. You don't have a constitutional right to come in here during a closed executive session unless you're invited in.
So yeah, his opinions matter.
Yeah.
But he can't act on it on January 1st. It'll just be opinion.
Well, they're still opinions.
They can be referenced in a court trial, right? That's what it would be.
Yeah.
What do you think? So let me ask you this while you're still on the court. What do you think would be a proper amount to put down for legal counsel if we were going to put in the budget?
Well, I would think that, it would probably be in the range of about $200,000 related to the green energy, depending on what occurs. We've got a potential micro data center that is being talked about.
Where at?
Very early stages over by the Amador Best location. We have other solar and wind energy projects that have been planned here. The community's done an outstanding job of opposing these things, but I think at some point it's going to be the obligation of the Commissioners Court to pay the freight related to that, and that could mean $200,000, especially if game rooms are also included in that.
All right, I'll up it to 200K. If you feel like that is sufficient, it's almost
2 hours worth.
hiring our own attorney.
Yes, that's right.
Having our own attorney and staff. At some point in time, if we get to that point, then it would be a cost justifiable to actually have our own attorney. And I don't know if that would be a county attorney or an attorney that works for the Commissioners Court or something to that regard.
Well, the DA has the DA has the ability, and this is what, I don't know if folks have contemplated this, but it could be that Tony Acosta is no longer available to work with the Commissioners Court, but he might be moved to criminal issues. We just don't know what next year's going to hold. And that's what makes doing the budget this year very difficult, although we're obligated to do that. I have to plan for what Mr. Cooley or Miss Edie Booth does next year. And
Have you invited him Friday?
the DA will be obligated to determine the budget for the successor that she has next year. So,
all right. Legal or accounting and auditing at 50,000, the same as this year. Consulting services 100,000, and that is probably related to doing studies and other consulting services that we may need for say subdivision guidelines.
mhm.
Kind of like we're doing with Allison Bass for the CAD.
Yep.
You know, that's what that consulting services is for, is professionals for that. Autopsies and forensic science, I kept it the same. I hope we'll get there. We're a little bit down from prior year in that regard. Bidding notices went up because we're doing more RFPs. And let me see what else. Insurance, I think we got it up. We got it up to 400,000 this year because of all the increases in our property related to the radio system and Paul Michael building, and I think that's gonna stay there. Okay. Annex, correct. The charity expense is and that's what's used for pauper funerals. Is what we pay for that. And then contingency, I put at 4 million again for next year in that regard. So any questions about non-department? So next we go to contracts and the regional public defender, that is a contract that many counties are involved in, and it's in the event of a capital murder trial. They provide the resources for a capital murder trial, and it's right at $20,000. We do that pretty much every year. The fire department is one of the things that I talked about. One of the priorities is that and we talked about it last year, trying to do it, and we didn't get there. And I really would like to see us increase the allocation we give to fire departments, and I basically doubled it. And so each fire department gets roughly $600 a month, and that's been that way since 2012. There hasn't been an increase in that, and I feel like that we need to step up and help do that. And if the CAD goes through, that we could do more in the future. But we got to try to prepare for it, and I don't know what y'all's desires are. That was a priority for me, so that's what I put in there: 180,000, which is almost, it was a little more than twice on what we've been paying every year. And again, it's going to all relate to whether or not we know what our revenue is going to be. Appraisal district, we are responsible for helping fund the appraisal district administration costs, and it's based on the amount of tax dollars that are collected for us, and it's $642,000.
Is that the part of ours that we have to pay?
No, that's what the county pays. Yours is for the road tax, and that is
It went up
in your budget.
considerably, too.
Yes, it did. So
Is the increase based upon how much they take in?
Well, what it's based on, that mine went up.
okay, the amount charged is based on the revenue collected for the road tax.
The dollar amount of the revenue,
Right. In other words, they
it's a percentage of that.
right. The revenue they collect, they take all the tax. First of all, they come up with their budget, which was I think 1.2 or 1.3 million dollars for the year for the whole CAD department. And then they go through all the taxing entities and figure out how much money is collected from them for that entity, and then it becomes a percentage.
Okay.
And then that percentage is applied to the budget. That's how much of it. So
Thank you.
we're pretty much close to half of what the appraisal district in that regard. TAC dues, ECOG dues, economic development, I upped from 65 to 100,000. This is not taxpayer fund. It's not taxpayer money. This is money we collect from the comptroller's office, and we have $500,000 in the bank right now for that. So that's available to use, but also we're just budgeting for 100,000 for next year. 10th administration judicial contribution, and I'm not sure the exact thing. I've been trying to research that, but it's 7,000 the last 2 years, and I think that went up to 8. They haven't sent us an invoice yet. Soil conservation, 800. That's the fee. Actually, there's another one down here we'll be doing with. All right, regional water development. And I don't know if I've shared with you, it's on the agenda for Wednesday, next Wednesday. But there is 16 counties that are working together. This all started out with Cole Hefner gathering some of the counties about who do not belong to a water conservation district and about creating a water conservation district. And they have contacted a law firm, and they have sent the proposal out on what it would cost, the legal costs to get this all rolling so that they can get it passed at the next legislative session to get a water conservation district for up to 16 counties. And this would be, it's about 20,000, it's about $12,000, $15,000 a month is what the cost would be.
A month or a year?
A month.
That's what,
Is
that's
that- is
reflect, that's reflected in
That's where-
13.5.
That's, yeah,
Oh, okay.
each one, yeah, for each one.
This is just our portion.
Yeah, that would be our portion of that legal
For the
cost. But it could go up if some counties elect not to participate.
Right.
Okay, so I think it's 1,200 if everybody, all 16 elected to participate. So, that's what we're looking at right now. So that's what that amount is right there. The animal control, we'll have, that's the Animal Protection League contract that we currently are 14.4. And
Is this spay and neuter?
yes.
Okay. I had a local veterinarian talk to me about this. And they would like to, he didn't say that he wanted to do it, but they would like to have a voice in it, but maybe participating in this, because he said a lot of times these people who are doing it, you're taking them right back there and they're having to fix it. So he did say that he would like to at least be a participant in who gets this contract.
Okay. Well, all right.
And it's Duck Beaverheart, so it was.
So maybe we can bring them in.
Yeah, I asked him if he'd want to come in during budget season.
Okay.
And talk about it. He said he would.
I've set up Monday into from 11 on to be for a lot of the different entities that haven't normally applied.
I'll get a hold of him.
Okay.
On Monday.
All right. I think everything else is pretty much the same until you get down to child safety allocation. This is based off of money collected, and I just upped it to what we're actually. It's money collected through the court system. Then you turn around and gets sent to the child. I don't know if it's the CAC or CAT or the different groups, but this is how much we're spending already, and it's just basically reallocating money. It's not increasing. It's increasing expense. So, any questions on contracts? All right, next we move on to public buildings, and this is kind of a moving target. I increased a lot of things last year, not knowing exactly where our annex was going to be, and I feel like I didn't really do much increasing anywhere in many of these. The only thing that I really have a question I need help on from the Commissioner Court, actually I decreased it some, is improvement to building and grounds. And we typically have tried to budget an amount to do courthouse renovation work. And in the last 2 years, last year it was 200,000, year before that it was 500,000. And we did not spend it because we didn't spend it for the window restoration on the 5th floor because we got no bids from the RFP we put out. Nobody wanted to bid, and it would have been well over 200,000. As it turns out, it'd be closer to about $800,000 what it would have been just to do the 5th floor windows. And so anyway, and we don't know what's gonna happen with the courthouse grant moving forward, but do we want to go ahead and put money in there to do some renovation work on buildings, either the courthouse or the annex or any of our other facilities?
I can give you my 2 cents on it. Mitch knows I can give my 2 cents on it.
Because the other thing too is we have extended our stay or the TAC facilities and the fire marshal in that building. It was a 2-year lease, and we have actually now gone into a 3rd-year lease where we'll be paying $1,650 a month for that. And at some point in time, we could move them if we have a facility to move them to.
I think the first step, we're working on it, we gotta get the architect.
Right.
Which we're doing that. The second step is, it's no secret, this courthouse has to get restored or not, depends on what the voters say. And by doing that, we've got to move out. So I think we should have a priority to at least try to get the fire marshal, TAC, and DA over there. And if we're gonna have to go to a bond election to see if this courthouse gets restored, and you move on from there. If the folks know, they've pretty much said they don't care about the courthouse, but still gotta move. So I would put a priority on this year to get the DA and the TAC and fire marshal to the new building, and then we can put the DA property up for sale. Yeah, if you want to go even further, try to get the annex over there and put that building up for sale.
Well, that would
It all depends on, I know,
depend on, I don't know what precinct that's in. Is it in 2? It's not. See, we can't move the JP2 court out of precinct 2.
There's been somebody that's told me that JP2 court is not in precinct 2 now.
yeah, I think it's in 3 now.
It's in 3.
Okay.
I wasn't aware of
So-
that. It's just somebody brought that to my attention. And there are several lines there that come, meet right together.
Shows what it comes in, but. Because,
Well, that's what I was told. It had-
It's known as Win Community, that's in my precinct. And if that's the area that comes right on down to the courthouse here, then that's in my precinct.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't think.
Well,
It's
that's an easy fix.
So-
if that's the case, then commissioner's office can move over there, JP right there, temporarily. If it has to be in 2,
Well,
we can move over there and put the.
if we're already in violation, there's no point in making a change.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Did you say that the windows on the 5th floor were gonna be 800,000?
Hmm.
One floor
Hmm.
of windows.
There's 5 foot.
Actually, if we had gotten a bid, we didn't get a bid.
I don't think we need to put any money into the courthouse until we figure out this grant and have a vote. If they vote to restore it, the windows are gonna be included.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This 500,000 is for building improvement. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the courthouse. It could be finish out work to move in the existing facilities we have.
That's Brandon's suggestion. I'm only 20%.
All right. Anybody else?
It's paying rent when we got a place to go.
If we can budget it and not spend it. That's what we've done the last 2 years. Rather than go into contingency.
We could always put that in legal funds. We might need it.
All right, so I'm gonna leave it there. Leave the numbers as you see. Next, indigent health. Indigent health? Yes, indigent health. This is a program that was mandated by the state, and we have one employee that handles it. And she's done a fantastic job in keeping our costs under control. And so there's not really any changes. I lowered the medical expenses to 150 from 160 based on our experience the last 2 years. And in that regard, but that still will pretty well cover everything. Any questions on that? Then health. Last one, emergency management. There is a little change to that. Pretty much everything, update in training and training, added $1,000 to training to go to the TDM conference, which we didn't go to this year, but next year we're planning to go to the TDM conference in Fort Worth. That's the only
Is
change.
her salary supplemented by the state or something?
No,
Is she just part-time?
she's part-time. Basically 25 hours a week. What budget? All right, that's all I have for today. Anybody have anything else they would like to discuss?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, I forgot to say something to you, but, we may need to talk about the building in Grants Lake,
The what?
the, youth detention center. I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, but I can talk to you about that later.
yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that later. I don't want that public yet.
Okay.
All right. Then that concludes our hearing at 11:05. Budget hearing. We will start tomorrow at 9 a.m. with the Veterans Affairs, followed by DPS. We got Judge Shin with Youth Diversion, Judge Shin, JP4, and then the auditor is what tomorrow's agenda will be.
Thank you, Judge, for letting us speak today.
You bet.
Jessica's lunchtime. I'm just joking about you, our house. I know it's only an hour and 45 minutes.
Judge, you said Monday at 11.
What?
Monday at 11.
Yes. And you're not gonna be here, right?
No, I won't be here
Yeah.
next week.
Okay.
You get all that, Lisa?
I got stuff for you to sign.
Oh, my gosh. More stuff?
Mhm.
Yeah, pen. Oh, here's a pen up here. Butch got all the pens. Why can't you ever find one? Okay.
I didn't pay Longview asphalt, because I haven't reconciled anything yet.
Should be 106 ton, 100 tons, yeah.
I just haven't verified the weights and all. That one didn't do because they charged me tax.
What is the, that is on Quick Creek and Creekville. Did we look at that at all?
I got 2 calls in.
Okay.
Well, 2 calls for the lady in Fort Worth. I have not called. Susan. Maybe you not.
So you said,
No.
oh, yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna just, I'll probably just do that order. What about changing us, getting an account for
That's
precinct
what I'm
one?
trying to
Oh, trying to
get
get,
changed.
I'm just gonna, if I can't get it done, I'm just gonna go ahead and like. Go forward with it and we'll just have to bring it in court to get it. Check approved. Judge Reese. Judge Reese.
Hold on. Hold on.
I can do 23, 2 grams of or something. Just 2 weeks. Yes.
Okay.